Hello, everybody. I'll try to make this quick because what I'm about to do might be completely useless, but you never know, so let's give it a try. If it works, I promise that for further episodes, I'll cut my hair, I'll put on maybe some nicer clothing, but for now, let's just stick with this. Uh, During this time of COVID-19, of schools going to distance learning, people going into quarantine, I've noticed that a lot of people are really reaching out and trying to help out to offer things online, whether they're late night TV show hosts or musicians or anyone really is offering things. And I realized that I don't have anything to offer. But then I've been sitting down in quarantine and doing some work, and the work I'm doing right now is working on a textbook for IB language and literature students to help them to prepare for IB assessments. And I thought, why can't I offer some of these tips by video or offer some of these tips to year one students who might be struggling a little bit because they're not in a normal classroom. So it's kind of the only thing I have. I thought about getting online and singing a song, but you don't really want to hear that. I thought about playing the cello, but I don't know how to play the cello. I don't have a cello, so that gets in the way. But I can offer some IB literature and IB language and literature tips. So what am I going to do exactly? Basically, I'll do a series of tips on paper one, paper two, on the assessments, but really I'd rather just focus on the good stuff. On reading and thinking and responding to works. But what I'll do is basically answer questions and concerns that people put in the comment section of this video. So I'll talk about anything you want to talk about. A few things first. The first thing is, I think the most important thing you can do in a situation like this, in terms of English and your study of literature or language and literature, is to read. And to engage with your reading and to think about it, and then to try to have some outlet for it, whether you're talking to friends or writing something or keeping a journal. That's the most important thing to do. And of course, to do whatever your school is offering. So continue to follow the advice of your teachers, to do the online work you're being asked to do, or to take a break if you're being asked to take a break. So I don't want to contradict any advice you're giving, but I thought, since part of my job is offering these kinds of tips to people, why don't I just offer some of them for free on YouTube? Just to let you know a little bit about my bio so that you can trust me. Actually, maybe you shouldn't trust me. It's not necessarily smart to trust what I say, but there are reasons why you could. I've been teaching IB English since the late 90s. I've been an examiner as well since the late 90s. I was the deputy chief examiner for English A1. I helped to design the current language and literature course. I helped to design the new, as in those of you in first year IB, I helped to design the new language and literature courses. I've designed workshops for IB for teachers of language and literature. I've written textbooks for Oxford University Press for language and literature, a variety of those. And I've done just a ton of examining. I'm currently the principal examiner for paper two, but I've sort of had my hand in a lot of things for IB English for a long time, since the late 90s. So I don't work for IB. Nothing I say is official IB. And currently, I'm not teaching in a school because I'm here talking to you on video. But I think I can offer an outlet for you. My own daughter is in first year of the IB program, and her school has been online now. We live in Vietnam. Her school has been online now since the beginning of February, and she's been doing great work at school. She kind of enjoys online learning and self-scheduling, but at the same time, she has questions about things, about an essay she's writing, or has questions about a book she's reading. And she knows that her teachers are working really hard online to prepare lessons that work online, to respond to individual students in a way that we sometimes don't when we're face to face. uh, as extensively and taking up so much time. So she feels bad about asking her teacher a question, or she's not able to just ask the teacher a question on the fly. So I want to be that kind of outlet and support for what you're doing. The other reason I'm doing this is, strangely enough, I get emails and mostly Facebook messages from students asking for help and advice, and even sometimes from teachers. That's because my name is on a couple of textbooks, uh, and my name floats around a little bit. So I do get students asking for advice, and I try my best to offer advice when I can. Once again, I don't want to offer advice that seems to. I'm not a doctor offering a second opinion. I think your teachers know you best, but I can be another outlet for you, someone to talk about an interpretation of a work, or someone to talk about how to approach an assessment. So I'm not going to offer any tips right now, just offering the offer of tips and tricks. No tricks. So here is my first tip. My first tip is that there are no tricks. That there's no easy way to ensure that you get a 7 in IB language and literature or literature. There's no absolute way to write a paper 2. There's no perfect structure to organizing paper 1. There's no set of literary terms that you have to memorize for any of these assessments. There's no perfect interpretation or right interpretation of any of the works that we're studying. The only right thing really is engaging personally in the works that you're studying and thinking about the bigger problems, the problem of the work itself and the problems of the discipline, which means, why do we study this stuff in the first place? It could be why we read in the first place, but not only that, why would we then study it in school? Why particularly would we study works of fiction? And if you're in language and literature, why study fiction and nonfiction? Why take a look at things like advertisements at the same time that we're looking at something like literature? How do these things interrelate? So I think that the most important piece of advice to you for this first lesson is that there are no easy answers. How to get a 7 without reading the books? Well, that's the silliest thing I've ever heard in my life. If that's what people are looking for, I guess you're looking in the wrong place. But we are a community of readers and thinkers, and I don't think anybody really thinks in isolation. Whenever you're reading a work, you're reading in a kind of secret partnership with the author. You're reading in a kind of secret partnership with every reader you've ever talked to. You're reading in partnership with all of the people who have analyzed a particular work over time. That we're always part of a community. And right now, you might feel pretty isolated in your reading, but I don't want you to be. First of all, you might be talking to your teachers online. Second of all, you might be writing in a journal, which is a kind of self-collaboration, if you will. But now I'm offering something a little bit different, and that is to talk to me, whether it's about assessment or about the ins and outs of the program, or even about extended essay, about ideas you have for papers, or questions that you have, concerns that you have, or talk about books. If this could turn into some sort of virtual book club for our IB Lit and LangLit students, that would be great. So, questions, comments, put them down below. Try not to say anything terribly rude, and go ahead and give thumbs down if you want. But bad reviews like hurt in the soul. If you want to read some bad reviews, go read the reviews on Amazon of our old textbook, and yeah, you'll have a good laugh. It's fun to get bad reviews, but I'm immune to them now. So do your best. But any questions, any concerns, put them down below. And I know schools in China are starting to go back now, but a lot of teachers can't get back, or a lot of teachers might be in quarantine when school starts. So again, I'm an outlet. If your teacher's busy, if your teacher's in quarantine, if if your school has just sort of gone dark, it depends on where you are in the world. Just, I'll be there as a kind of person. I'm not working right now, so as I work on my textbook, I can offer you some of these things online. That was longer than I expected, but in any way, stay healthy, do the right thing, and try to make the best of things.